Yeah, hi there. These comments are from Anjivi. This is Michael again from Better TOEFL Scores, and I'm the founder and the materials writer of the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL iBT. So you just finished writing practice test 10. Slow down. You're not getting my lessons. You're not understanding anything. Nothing. Stop. Don't take any more practice tests. This is a mess. Now, on the one hand, you have good vocabulary, good grammar, you have good details and things you're putting in there, but you're not answering the questions, none of them. So I've looked at 3 different practice tests, and not one time have you exactly answered the question, which means you don't understand what I'm teaching you in the lessons. Are you watching the videos before you do the practice test? Are you just taking the practice test? Because I really don't think that you're getting anything that I'm teaching you. So the question here is, it says some people believe that a college or university education should be available to students. Others believe that higher education should be available only to good students. Discuss these views. Which view do you agree with? Explain why. So first of all, in paragraph 2 and 3, you discuss the 2 views. First, you discuss how an education should be available to all students. You need to include some arguments that support why this should be true. And then in the 3rd paragraph, you discuss the opposite view about how the higher education should only be available to good students. That's what you do in paragraph 3. And finally, in the conclusion, you include your own position. You didn't do any of that. For example, let's look at the topic sentences of your paragraph 2 and 3. You say, in principle, an institution of higher education must restrict admissions to candidates whose record indicates ability to perform on a certain minimum level or higher. Okay, so that looks like you're talking about the education should not be available to all students, right? Okay, that's the second opinion. But my question is, if the question says some say it should be available to all, and then the second part says it should be available to only good students, to me, it's more logical to discuss the first point in paragraph 2 because it's mentioned first in the question. And then the second point is the higher education should be available only to good students. To me, because that's the second key point, that should be the topic in paragraph 3. You say in paragraph 3, as it happens, this issue is probably a non-issue because it is likely to resolve itself without the need for a formal decision on policy. It's too complicated. I mean, you need to be a researcher or a doctor or something. You're making the TOEFL more difficult than what it should be. To me, in paragraph 2, you simply say, some say that everyone should be entitled to college. And then you explain why people believe this. You get to paragraph 3. On the other hand, others believe a college education should only be restricted to good students. Those are your 2 topic sentences, and then you give the appropriate detail to support both of those positions. And then when you get to your own opinion, paragraph 4, you say, personally, I think a higher education should only be available to good students, and then you state what your argument is, right? So it's sad. You're such a good writer. You have really good grammar. You have good vocabulary. You definitely know how to write. I got to give you that. I'm not saying that at all, but you're not organizing your writing around what the question is asking you to do. You're getting killed every time. If you do this on the TOEFL iBT, you will have wasted $150 and you will not get the 4.0 or 4.5 or 5.0 out of 5 on the writing section that you deserve. I'm telling you, you deserve higher than this. I'm going to give you a 3.5 again out of 5, but I don't think this is where you are as a writer. If you follow the instructions, your writing score is going to shoot to the moon, I'm telling you. Now, I just had an interesting kind of question. On the last practice test, I can tell from the site, you took 16 minutes to take the test. Now, on practice test number 10, you took 19 minutes to take the test. Why are you not taking the full 30 minutes? If I were you, before you start writing, when you do your next practice test, look at the question, and as a suggestion in my video, make a short list, make a shopping list of ideas of how you want to answer the question first. So make a very short, informal outline. You're finishing the test 10 minutes beforehand anyway. How about take the first 5 or 10 minutes outlining your answer, and then use the outline to answer the question. Now make sure your outline comes from the question itself. So for you, you need to carefully read the question. Make sure you understand what the question is asking, and make sure you organize your response according to those constraints. Alrighty?